Hey guys, welcome back to TEK Performance. So today I'm gonna make a little video talking about camshafts. Now to start this off, I have a very basic understanding of LS valve train. I do not know it all by any means. I just know what I've researched and learned and had experience with. But I'm gonna make a video and go over the camshafts that I've used in my personal vehicles, put in customers' vehicles, or just ones that I would like to use in the future, but stuff that I've had experience with. So I wanted to start by the very first camshaft that I ever bought. It was a Texas Speed. This was in 2019 or 2020. I had the Trans Am that's actually sitting right in front of me. It's a 75. It's my personal race car. It was my first LS swap. This was about 5 years ago now, I think. So this was the very first camshaft I ever ordered. Now, like everybody else, I called Texas Speed. I said, I have a 5.3, the car was a 4L60 at the time, and it had a 3200 converter in it. I said, this is gonna be a race car only, 5.3, other than that, completely stock. It's got headers on it, 373 rear gear, 3200 stall, and a 4L60. I said, what's the biggest camshaft I could put in that car to make the most power, sound the best, everything like that? This is the one they recommended me. It is the Texas Speed 228, 232. That is the duration at 50 on the intake and the exhaust. Valve lift at 1.7 is 600, 600 with a 112 lobe separation and a 110 intake center line. Now I put the cam in this car, got it tuned. It was actually a whole ordeal on getting it tuned. I ended up having some issues that I didn't even realize, and put it in the car, took it to the track, went to Hardensburg at VUR, familiar with that here in Kentucky. The car ran, I think the best it ran was 821. I don't remember the mile an hour. I'm gonna say like 80 maybe, 81. I do not remember. I can go back on a time slip and look, but that was this camshaft. It was my very first one. I made like 4 or 5 passes with the car and it lost oil pressure, which the engine it had over 200,000 miles. It lost oil pressure and ended up having a bad lifter, and it wore a low, it like ground into a lobe on the cam. So that cam's pretty much ruined. I still have it now, but very first cam in LS that I've ever had experience with. Now, the same engine, I called Texas Speed again. Well, it's a little bit different setup this time. The car was a Power Glide. It had a 5,000 stall in it and still had the 373 gears, which I switched that out after like one weekend. Fun fact, I could run the whole 8th mile in low gear, but this is the cam that is still in the car now currently. And like I said, 5,000 stall. It flashes about 5,100. It's a Power Glide with a 176 first gear and a 513 rear gear. But it is a Texas Speed 233, 239. And then again, the valve lift at 1.7 is 600, 600, 112 lobe separation, 110 intake center line. I am running nitrous on the car. It's a very consistent engine, very consistent cam. I've been super happy with it, but the nitrous that I'm currently running and plan to run this year, I feel like I'm going to need a little bit different camshaft or something that's going to broaden my RPM range a little bit, which I understand still 5.3 cubic inches, stock piston. The heads has been milled on it, but the compression is still fairly mild. I really feel like I need to have a custom ground cam put in it, but this cam has been in the car for 3 years now, and I've had 0 issues with it, been very happy. Moving on, this is the BTR, the truck torque cam. I've actually have not got to test this cam. This is the cam in my previous video that is going in this flat top 6 liter, that is going in a 2500 HD truck. I've never used this cam. It is a BTR, the truck torque cam. The duration at 50 on the intake and the exhaust is both 202. Intake lift is 510, exhaust lift is 510 with a 110 intake center line and a 111 LSA. I'm looking for this cam to produce a whole lot of low end torque. I don't imagine you would hear it much, if any, especially in a 6 liter, maybe in a 4.8 application or something like that. But I'm super excited to use it because a lot of people don't build LS engines for torque. And I understand that it's not like a traditional small block. They have a whole lot more torque in the lower RPM band, as a lot of your 4.8, 5.3, 6 liter, 6.2s, they have a higher power and torque band in RPM wise, which this 6 liter has started life as a stock LQ4, had 300,000 miles on it. It was wore out. We went through it, put new bearings in it, bored it 10 over, and put LQ9 flat top pistons in it, and we're slightly milling the heads, make sure they're square. So that's really going to up the compression on that. And with this torque cam and a set of 1 3/4 speed engineering headers and a good tune, I'm really hoping to, in that 3,000, 3,500, 4,000 RPM range, I'm hoping to have some great torque with it. But I'd like to do another video on this cam. I'm that excited to work with it in a 6-liter. I've never used it. The engine's right here, so I don't even know how it sounds. I don't know how it runs, don't know anything about it, but this is the latest camshaft that I've played with. Here is a BTR cam that I have in one of my personal vehicles. It is in my 2004 Pontiac GTO. It's a LS1 T56 car. It is the BTR, the Stage 3 LS1, LS2 cam. Intake duration at 50 is 231. Exhaust duration at 50 is 244. Intake center line 110. Exhaust center line 115 with a 112.5 LSA. The intake lift is 631. Exhaust lift is 615. Now this camshaft, I believe this was the first BTR camshaft I ever used. It's been a few years now, and like I said, it is a manual car, so I didn't have to worry about a torque converter, but I'm very impressed with the power band on this camshaft. Now, I've actually spoke with BTR about this as they've come out with their V2 lineup of stuff. This is their like more traditional, this is their, I guess, version 1 camshaft, you could say, but they're actually making more power and torque with less duration, which is easier on valve train, prolongs that, and if you can do more with less, that's always better most of the time. But this camshaft has a ridiculous power band from like 4 to 7,200 where I shift the car at. Now below 4,000, that 3,500, below 3,500, let's say, I noticed it does not provide like the torque as I believe a smaller camshaft would, and that's to be expected with a cam of this size. But the car weighs like 3,700 pounds, and it had headers on it, and it's got 243 heads. They've been milled. It's 11-to-1 LS6 intake. But the car really picked up after that 3,500. It's drastic from 3,500, 4,000 to the 7,000, 7,200 mark. The power there is ridiculous. I've been super happy with the cam. It sounds awesome, runs good, and realistically, it remains great drivability in that car. Like I said, I do notice, it lacking a little bit of low end power and torque, but that's to be expected. That has nothing to do with the cam. That's just the cam size that I picked. Now, I've considered making the car more mild and going with like a stage 1 or 2 LS1, LS2 cam, or like trying their new V2 line cams, but that may be a thing in the future. I may just leave that camshaft in it. I'm super happy with it, and it drives great, but the car, I pretty much only take it to car shows now and just kind of enjoy it. I rarely drive it, which that's leading me to not want to change the camshaft, but it is what it is. It makes great power. It dynoed at 402 to the tire, rear wheel horsepower, so I was happy with that. I think the torque was 343, but it's got an awesome power band, great sounding, overall great camshaft, super happy with it. Our next cam here this is actually the cam card to the Angry Elf from Texas Speed, which is exactly like the Chopacabra. The intake duration at 50 is 214, exhaust is 222. The intake and exhaust lift both is 550. Intake center line 106, exhaust center line 110, and a 108 lobe separation. Now, like I said, this is the Angry Elf, which they just kind of market that around Christmas time. This is the exact specs on the Chopacabra, which is similar to the Truck Norris, just various companies. I've had this cam in one of my personal vehicles. I really liked it. It sounded good. I could not tell a difference between this cam and the BTR Truck Norris whatsoever, which I know they're very similar specs, and I had them in the same application, 5.3 headers, extended cab truck, stuff that I do a lot of, so it's sort of a direct comparison, same person tuning them. I could not tell any difference. I have noticed here lately I've been hearing some issues with the cam cores from Texas Speed having issues. It's been a few years since I've used a Texas Speed cam. This cam actually is going in a friend of mine's truck who has a BTR Stage 2 truck cam, V2, that he just put in there, and it's a 6-liter, but he is not happy with it. It don't seem to sound as good, and I don't think he's really happy with the performance gains, but mainly sound is what he's looking for. And actually, in a future video, hopefully here in the next few weeks, we're going to be swapping the Stage 2 V2 cam out for a Truck Norris. So that'll be kind of a direct comparison back to back, sort of apples to apples comparison on sound wise and what we're going to get out of each one of them. I'm going to definitely take some videos before and after and hear how it sounds and how it performs, but that'll be a pretty interesting test that I look forward to. The last cam here, I have no experience with this cam. It is a cam from GPI, and a lot of you may not have heard of that. But I've always heard of it, like the LS3 LT1 world. They have took that and ran with it. The duration at 50 on the intake is 220 and the exhaust is 224. Center line is 107. Valve lift is 552. And the lobe separation is 111.1 and it has 4.1 degrees of advanced ground into it. I believe this is their low lift stage 3 truck cam from GPI. I have not ran this cam yet. I bought it on Black Friday, got a good deal on it. And I planned on putting it in a 5.3 truck that I have, a Gen 4 5.3 once I delete the DOD, but I've decided to go a little different route with that. And I believe that cam is going to go in my brother's Gen 4 6-liter, rectangle port 6-liter. That should be a nice cam in that engine for sound and for that mid-range power and torque. But I've actually changed up. You'll see in a future video, I'm going to start a whole build series on a truck that I bought. And this is actually the block that's going in it. I just got it cleaned, but got to put that together. And I was super excited to run that GPI cam. Never ran one, but I believe I'm gonna save that for my brother's truck, that rec port 6-liter I was telling you about. And I've actually got a custom grind from Cam Motions that is going in this engine here. I'm not going to release the displacement on this engine. It's kind of a secret. It's going to be, I wouldn't say max effort NA, but it should be on the verge of good drivability, but get the most power I can from camshaft compression wise, that sort of thing, and still remain great drivability. But I'm super excited for that. You guys will definitely see that in future videos. I'm gonna start like a whole build series on it. I'm hoping to have the truck done in time. We're gonna take it to LS Fest, Texas. That is my goal, which we're from Western Kentucky. So we go to the LS Fest here at Bowling Green every year. I think I've got shirts dated back from 2014. I was a kid going and loved that show. But anyways, I got excited hope for this engine here, and it's going in a crew cab truck, and hopefully it'll be forced inducted later down the road, but we'll see where that goes. And like I said, it's a custom grind from Cam Motions going in it. But these are the camshafts that I've had experience with and I've enjoyed. I haven't had a camshaft that I've had yet in one of a customer's vehicles or one of my own vehicles that I was disappointed with. And I do not have a cam card, believe it or not, but the camshaft that I use the most and absolutely love, the Brian Tooley Truck Norris. You guys, if you've followed my channel, you've seen some videos on those cams. They just perform amazing. They sound amazing. They run amazing. They're right where a truck needs to be for a majority of the truck applications. Now, you have some of your more extreme, like your street truck, race truck applications, that would really benefit from a much larger camshaft than the Truck Norris. But for the majority of the truck market, especially the guys wanting to remain stock converter, the Truck Norris is hard to beat. I mean, Brian Tooley Racing, that is a wonderful company. I've worked with them for years now. I've actually went up and bought stuff, out of their facility there in Bardstown. Super happy with that company. They've hit the nail on the head with the Truck Norris. I have no complaints. Every single customer that I have, even the one that's like, hey, you put whatever camshaft you think's in it, I always go with the Truck Norris. A lot of them come to me, hey, I want the Truck Norris. It sounds awesome. It performs amazing. It doesn't kill your gas mileage. It's just, overall, it's a wonderful cam. I've ran it with stock converter. I've ran it with manifolds. I've ran it with, I believe, 3200 stall, which I'm a believer a converter helps every application. Even stock applications, you're going to benefit from a torque converter. But I've ran the Truck Norris just about every application truck-wise that I can think of. Anything from like 323 rear gears to 373. I've ran one with 410s, single cab, crew cab. I've run the Truck Norris in every truck application that I can think of. 4.8, 5.3. Have not ran it in a 6-liter yet, but I assume I'll be doing that in the future, and I think I'll be very happy with the results as that as well. But I just want to tell y'all about cams I've had experience with, and maybe this will help you decide or anything like that. And feel free to text me. Like I said, I do not know everything about LS valve train whatsoever. I have a very basic knowledge, but I'm trying to learn and move forward with it, as it's something I love doing, and it's very rewarding, I guess you could say, just by switching out camshafts. And yes, you do the valve springs and the push rods and that whole ordeal, but making a vehicle go from the stock sound to like a cam sound, it's just, I find it rewarding. But also, you guys, you subscribers or new subscribers, this is my this is like my business channel, TK Performance. And I would love to grow it and film doing the performance stuff, but I would also like to film other things like I do lawn care during the summers. I would like to film some of that. I like to go golf. I'd like to film that. I'd like to shoot guns, but I can't decide if I want to put it all on one channel and have this channel surrounding me, or just keep this channel for my like performance car oriented work. If you guys have any feedback on that, just let me know in the comments. And like I said, feel free to comment on there. I'll send you my email. I'll send you my phone number, whatever. We can have conversations on camshafts, or if you're here local, getting work done to your truck, or anything based on Gen 3, Gen 4 LS. I will say I've had quite a few people wanting me to do Gen 5 LTs, and I'm chomping at the bit to get that opportunity. I've been talked to about it, but have not got the opportunity yet. I have never worked on a Gen 5 LT. I'm super excited to, and I know it's a little bit different. It's a learning curve, but I'm very excited to get hands-on with one. But I think that's going to do it for this video, and hopefully in the future, the next video, y'all will see the heads get on this, get in that 2500, get it tuned, see how it's going to do. Very excited for that. And then we're swapping the Stage 2 V2 truck cam for a Chupacabra. So stuff like that you can look forward to come in the future. I need to work on my personal cars, like my Trans Am here and my GTO. And I'd love to do a video on like a shop tour. I've had quite a few ask me about like cars that's in the background and stuff, and I can make a whole video just talking about my projects and stuff like that. But that's going to be all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.